Caitlin Clark set the rookie record for most assists in an all-star game. And truthfully, she was about to just set the record in general for not just rookies. But again, in typical WNBA fashion, they held her back. They stopped her essentially. And not in this big, extreme, overt way, but they took the ball out of her hands. She sat for like an awkward amount of time in the fourth quarter, which made no sense. And then when they were trying to get her back in the game, she was just sitting there doing nothing, and the coach never called a timeout until the very end when it was finally like too late and when there was like 3 minutes left to go. And it's just absurd. I mean, Ogunbowale was having a great game, and yet they let her keep playing. They let her rack up the minutes. I think she played like over 30 minutes or so. And they let her kept shooting shot after shot after shot after shot because she was going for the record. And they didn't let Caitlin Clark do that. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. It really, really doesn't. And then when she was finally back in the game, when she now had like 3-4 minutes left to go to actually try to get it, to break the record, they were no longer having her take the ball up. I mean, like, I couldn't believe it. She's the literal point guard. She's been dishing out amazing passes all night, and now she has the chance to break the record, and she's not even taking the ball up. Please tell me how that makes sense. And then when she was getting the ball at the top of the key, when she finally did get the ball, she'd get it like at the top of the key or in the corner, and then none of the girls were moving around. They were all just kind of standing around. And at one point, then she just took a shot because she knows nobody was cutting. No one was doing any backdoor cuts. No one was moving around. Like, they weren't letting her get any assists. They didn't want to do it. And again, I'm not saying that this was this big, overt, like, organized thing, but they definitely weren't going out of their way. Like, they were trying to food Ogunbowale. I'm going to probably mess up her name a million times. They kept feeding her the ball. They kept wanting her to shoot, take the shots, get to it, get it, right? They wanted her to break that record. They were excited for that. But they did not offer that same to Caitlin Clark. And it's just like, it's frustrating, quite honestly. Because the game before there was a record at stake, it was an enjoyable game, and you could let the game kind of just unfold. But then when Caitlin Clark's going for history, for another record-breaking moment, they just like didn't support it. They didn't support the moment for her. And it's just, again, it's frustrating. And I think it's so perfect that Ogunbowale was set up, who she was going for her own record for most points, and you could see the contrast. You could see the comparison. Go back and watch other deeper highlights, and you will see them feed her the ball. They were like, we want you to break it. And then she stayed in the game for many minutes. She played the most minutes out of anyone in the entire game, I believe, on both sides. And they didn't offer that to Caitlin. And it just doesn't make sense to me. And it's not fair. And again, I want to emphasize, this wasn't this like big, strong, strategic, mastermind plan to be like, we don't want Caitlin Clark to break a record. But like, at the same time, anyone who's balled before and understands how these games work and how these moments work, when they know someone's close to a record, they don't make it easy for them, but they do want to put the ball in their hands. Right? If they know Steph is 2 threes away from breaking a record, they try to get him the ball. And, the other team's not saying go ahead, shoot, and the Warriors aren't like, all right, no one else is going to shoot but Steph. We're just going to keep feeding him the ball, so he shoots another 100 times. But they want to make sure that they get him the ball. Even Steph Curry, when Klay Thompson broke the record for the most threes in a game, like, Steph was trying to get him the ball. Like, that's what you do when it's collaborative, supportive basketball. And they did not offer that for Caitlin Clark. And it's just very obvious. This isn't a tinfoil hat conspiracy theory here. It's very obvious. Anyone who understands basketball will see that. It's as clear as day. It's as clear as day. I was hoping that there was going to be like a legit recording of this game so I could show you the final like 4 minutes so you could see that like literally Caitlin Clark was not getting the ball. They were not having her bring it up. They finally let her bring it up when there was like a minute 30 left. And at that point, it's like, it's too late. And again, even when she finally did have the ball, like, nobody was moving, nobody was cutting, nobody was doing anything. And it's like, well, she's an assist, she's a passer. She has these moments of assist. Like, what are we doing here? So, I think it's another sad missed opportunity. Again, other people can shine beyond Caitlin Clark, right? I'm not saying that this game, everything has to go through Caitlin Clark, but she is the point guard. So the offense is supposed to be run through her. Like, she's the quarterback of the team. And then they got away from it. And it just doesn't make sense. And then the truth is, this is the reality, too, with women's basketball right now. In the NBA, you can have a lot of people bring the ball up because there's a lot of gifted passers, a lot of gifted handles. It's not just one person who separates themselves by far. Now, when you're growing up playing ball, whether it's AAU or even just more casual for some people who maybe weren't playing basketball super competitively, but still played, in their intramural leagues and whatnot, what you're taught at a young age is get the ball to the point guard, because not everyone's good at dribbling. Not everyone can even really look down the court and dribble and handle the ball. And so it's always like you get the rebound and you find the point guard, you find the one, find one, and you dish it out to him, right? And it's like you don't even dribble at all. Like, and you are taught like this, honestly, up until you're like 12, 13, 14, like you even in high school ball, depending on how good your team is, like you're taught like you barely even pick up your dribble if you get the rebound on the defensive end, and you just immediately look for the person who's your point guard, who can handle the ball and bring the ball up court. It's kind of comical in hindsight because that's not the way how it's played in even in college or the NBA. But the truth is that's how women's basketball should be played right now with the WNBA, because they're all degreeing of passing and their court vision and their handles. It's just the distribution of the skill set is similar to that of like high school, middle school. And that's not an insult to them. That's just the way how some of these women's bodies are, what they're gifted at. It's just different. It's a different style of play. Like, that's not meant to be an insult at all. I'm not saying they're as good as middle school kids. What I'm saying is like the distribution of skill set is more reminiscent of that than say the NBA, right? Like in the NBA, you can literally have Joel Embiid take the ball up court, right, and be point guard for a few possessions. The WNBA does not have that. And the reason why I'm emphasizing this is because Caitlin Clark's vision and handles and ability to just, as soon as she gets the ball and fly down the court and with her head up looking down, it's second to no one. It's truly second to no one. So the offense should always be run through her. Always be run through her. And so whenever it's not, you're just like, this is silly. This is like playing, again, growing up and not looking for your point guard. And now someone else is trying to bring the ball up, and you're just like, dude, you can't dribble as well as Joe. Like, what are you doing? Get Joe the ball. He's the one that's going to bring the ball up. He's not going to turn it over. So that's just, to me, I think that stood out to me with this game too, is you can see a lot of the women, when something good happens to them, a lot of the women come running up to each other and really give her a hug, really give, the individual, whoever did something, whoever shot, whatever it may be. They do not do that for Caitlin Clark. They really, really don't. She does not have that same level of sisterhood as any of these other women. And it's very obvious. It's so obvious to see. And it's sad, honestly. Like, I really feel for her. And that's why I really do just hope that she just puts her head down and just continues to dominate, continue to break records, and continue to be inevitable. And eventually, they want her to bend the knee, and eventually she is going to be so good that they will have to bend the knee to her. And it will come sooner than later. Better believe that. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think? Do you think, what did you guys think about the game? Did you think it was fun? Do you think it was exciting? Do you think that they didn't do enough to kind of support Caitlin in trying to break that record? Or do you think it just kind of was the flow of the game? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.